this whole episode was, I mean, it was sort of a mixture of the comic and the what the show was going for. I think the biggest like difference was the continuation of Mark's like PTSD or like anxiety. Just throughout, I mean, like every 2 seconds he would like see something and it would just automatically trigger how he felt about like what could happen.
Yeah.
And like it's interesting because they kind of showed a little bit of it like before, but this was the first time that it was truly realized that Mark's PTSD was maybe as bad as like it could be. And I mean, obviously, what happened with Thragg in the last episode, in episode 7, it expedited that process to make him like in true fashion an anxiety monster. But it's interesting because like a lot of other things have happened in his life where this hasn't triggered him that badly.
Yeah.
And I think it's just interesting that you have a whole episode dedicated to that because going forward, I mean, that's gonna have to be talked about. Like in following seasons, like how it affects him and how it affects his psyche. And I mean, because in the comic, not that he doesn't have mental challenges that he has to go through, it's just not as prevalent as it is in the show. And I think it's good how they went about showing this types of things. It's think about it this way, he's only like, I think he's like 20, 21. I mean, he is so young and all these things have happened to him, and it's like it's kind of scary to think about how much is really on his shoulders, and not even including the fact that I mean, he could have been a father, and it's just like that's another thing that is added to it. It's just it's just a lot. Like I think about like Nolan, how the other Viltrumites really don't get affected that much by the actions that they do. I mean, like Nolan is now thinking about them, and he's taking that next step to maybe fix those issues that he has. But like he's not sitting there thinking about all the people that he killed, in Chicago. He's not thinking about all the Flaxens he killed during his however many months he was there. It's just it's different, and Mark being human, that's the biggest thing. I would be interested to see, because even like Oliver, who's not really human, he's not going to be impacted the same way. But it's like in his short time being alive, I mean, he's been almost torn in half. He was arm cut off, jaw broke. It's just a lot of bad things happened to him. And you know what? I don't think it's gonna nearly impact him as much as it impacted Mark. But I mean, I like overall, I think that this finale was like there was a theme to this season, I would say, and it was figuring out the consequences of actions.
Definitely.
And like how mental states impact decision making, forgiveness. I mean, it's been a lot of just like mental hurdles that all these characters have had to get over, because like the physical challenges, yes, like obviously Thragg and Conquest are things that are physically immovable, but even like for Thragg, like he even had to go over like a mental challenge in multiple circumstances. I mean, now he had a conversation with Nolan that then goes away, so then he fought it, and then look what happened. The consequences of, I mean, everything that led up to this moment was a consequence of Thragg's actions anyway.
Right.
But like his consequences of what he did literally in that moment, planet got blown up, he then decides to go to Earth, and then now he has to make the decision about, hey, should I can just destroy this planet, or I can help birth the next era of our my species. And he doesn't have to tell Mark anything, but he chooses to. And I mean, we'll talk about that either later on or in this episode what we're talking about right now. But it's just lots of choices and lots of decisions. But this was like overall, I think that this season was just great. Just great. I think
it was great.
So if you like that sort of topic and you like hearing us talk about Invincible, I mean, going forward, we're going to be doing a rewatch of Invincible. So we're going to be doing, maybe not this week, but maybe that week after.
Give you a break of Invincible. We all know you're tired of Invincible.
Yeah. But we're going to be going through each one of the seasons. We're going to go episode 1, season 1, have like a discussion like we've been doing every week with Invincible here, and we'll talk about something that goes on with it. And since we're 4 seasons in now, it's going to be a lot like we get to do the 2020 hindsight.
Definitely.
And see how certain things played out, and we can talk about the Hutchins, how he would have handled it back then, sort of a conversation. So tune in for that.